morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice Radio. So today, we've got a Jirachi to look at. Jirachi GX, to be precise. And look, when Jirachi got an EX, it was great. Can the GX hold up? Well, it's not Jirachi EX good, but there are some things to like about it. Let's have a little bit of a gander, shall we? So our translation here does come from a combination of the lovely Joe over at Cerebi.net and the lovely David Hochmann over at RappelMann TCG. And starting off with the basics, it's got 160 HP. Now this is a lot more than the EX had at 90, but it is extremely low for GXs. We've got Dedenne GX, which has 160. And then we've got Marshadow with 150, but by the time this comes out, Marshadow will actually have been rotated, so this and Dedenne will be the smallest, littlest, babiest GXs we actually have. Retreat cost of 1 is low, and you can use U-turn board, and you can use escape board, which of course will fit nicely with the other Jirachi, the one from Team Up, which is frankly nuts good. Weakness to Psychic is probably going to actually be quite bad by the time this comes out, because you've got Mewtwo and Mew Tag Team GX, which does not look particularly good. One saving grace is that pretty much all Psychic Pokemon at the moment do a base 70. I'm looking at you, Mewtwo. I'm looking at you, Giratina. I could keep going, but you get the point. And doubled with weakness, that won't get a KO. And bearing in mind, we are moving into a format without Choice Band, so, you know, at least we've got that. And being a Psychic Pokemon means you can use Spell Tag to drop some damage if you get KO'd, but way more importantly means you can use Malamar to accelerate a little bit of energy here, which is wonderful. But what does it actually do? Well, if we start off with the ability here, it says do not apply weakness for Pokemon that are weak to Psychic. Or to put it simply, ignore Psychic weakness. Now, this isn't just for Jirachi, this is for everyone. Now, it can be turned off, not by Alolan Muck, that will have rotated by the time we get this, even though it is a basic, and not by Glaceon, which will also have rotated out, even though that blocks GX abilities. No, ladies and gentlemen, it will be turned off by Power Plant, and remember, we're not going to have Field Blower here, so essentially play your own stadium so this doesn't get turned off. And as long as this isn't turned off, your Jirachi has no weakness here, which is nice. But it goes further than that. Because you know that Mewtwo and Mew I mentioned earlier? That's pretty good. It can use the attack of any EX or GX Pokemon in your discard pile or on your bench. But now that's not hitting you for weakness. So that's good. We like this. It means something like a Giratina that would be one-hit KOing you will not be one-hit KOing you. This is cool. This is really, really nice. It's not a reason to play the card. It essentially just mitigates a giant downside of the card. So I don't know how good we feel about that essentially there's a giant downside, but hey, there's an ability which takes away that giant downside, but as it stands at the moment, unless your opponent drops a Power Plant, you don't have the weakness. But really, I don't see this as a Pokemon that's going to be protecting itself. I see this as a Pokemon that's going to be protecting Mewtwo and Mew. I think that the absolute best use for this is using it in a Mewtwo and Mew deck to basically go to your opponent, now I don't have any weakness. I've got this amazing Pokemon that can copy the attacks of any of my Pokemon, well, any GXs in a discard or on my bench. And in addition to that, I've got 270 HP and I don't have any weakness. It's going to give an extra layer of survivability, and I think that's a really, really good thing here. So yeah, it's cool. I think it's basically just there for Mewtwo and Mew at the moment, but it'll be good for any Psychic weak Pokemon moving forward. Cool. Now, we have our first attack here. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really like the first attack, at all. For 1 Psychic Energy, search your deck for 1 energy and attach it to one of your Psychic Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. Now, the good news is it's energy, not basic energy. So you could use this to attach any kind of special energy. Maybe something like a rainbow energy or a super boost energy. But I don't know how much I like this. Now, yeah, you get to search your deck. And look, post-rotation, we're even losing energy lotto. So finding our special energy especially is going to be very difficult. But you've got to put an energy on Jirachi, and it's got to be a psychic energy. So, on the one hand, yes, you do get to search for any energy and attach it to one of your psychic Pokemon. But on the other hand, you've got to put an energy onto Jirachi in order to do this. Well, that's not cool. You're swapping one energy for another. Now, if we go pre-rotation here, we've got Shining Mew. And look, I know that Shining Mew's got 30 HP, and that sucks. But you got free retreat, and for one psychic energy, you search for 2 energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. So it's 2 energy, not 1. It is any Pokemon, not just psychic, and you've got free retreat. And if you're really worried about Mew having 30 HP when it's sitting on your bench, play Mew, which will protect your Mew. I don't get the point of this attack. It's an objectively worse version of a non-GX attack. Now, to be fair, Shining Mew is rotating, but is that really a good excuse for giving us such an underwhelming attack? Anytime you're attaching energy with an attack, you really need to be attaching more than one, or else you attach an energy, and then you attach an energy. Well, why don't you just put the energy on the Pokemon in the first place? We're really looking for stuff like Flareon, whereby you put 1 energy on Flareon, and then you attach free energy from your hand to your Pokemon, and you go, oh, so now I'm swapping 1 energy for free. This is a good trade, rather than I'm swapping 1 energy for 1. So maybe the GX attack will help us out here. Free psychic energy, 100 damage. During your opponent's next turn, prevent all effective attacks, including damage, done to this Pokemon. It's fine. It's alright. We've seen this on a million different psychic Pokemon, incidentally. We saw this on Toxapex, which I think might have been the first one that had it, whereby you do 150 for free energy and then prevent all effective attacks next turn. We've seen it on Dawnwing's Necrozma that does 180 and prevents effects during your opponent's next turn and damage, although you can only use that if you're behind on prizes. And more recently, we've seen it on the Mewtwo GX from the Detective Pikachu mini set that does 180 and prevents all damage done to this Pokemon, but it doesn't prevent other effects. So free psychic energy or thereabouts, give yourself protection next turn. Yeah, we've seen this. Here's the thing though, you're doing 100 damage? There's a whole bunch of non-GXs out there, like Granbull for instance, like Zapdos even, where you're not getting a one-hit KO. And then, if you take stuff that's weak, some of it will go down. You know, Mewtwo GX from Detective Pikachu. But then, Mewtwo and Mew isn't going down here. You're doing 200. That ain't that close. Marshadow and Machamp. You're doing 200. You're not that close. Muck and Alolan Muck. You're doing 200. You're not that close. We got, weirdly, a large amount of Tag Team GXs that are weak to Psychic. None of them are going down to this. So, yeah. It's just weird. It just doesn't do very much damage. Like, at all. I'm not a fan. So, essentially here, what we have is a low HP 2-prize Pokemon with a bad attack and a bad GX attack, but a really nice ability. So I think it's one of these Pokemon where you're not playing it because you like it, you're playing it because it helps out a Pokemon you like. You play it so that your Mewtwo and Mew are helped out. You play it so that your Muck and Alolan Muck are helped out. Heck, even play it so your Marshadow and Machamp are helped out here. But that's the only use you're getting from Jirachi. And look, Jirachi EX had 90 HP and was only used for the ability, and that was great. Dodene's got 160 HP and has only really played for the ability, and that's great. This isn't on that level, let's be clear about that. It is not on that level. But if you just want to take away weakness, this'll work. Although please do bear in mind that your opponent can play down a power plant and then attack, which means that it's essentially up to them whether they take away your weakness. If they put down a power plant and then immediately attack, there's nothing you can do about it. So let's give this between 3 and 4 wussies. We don't give half wussies. That would be barbaric. It's fine. I like the ability, but pretty much everything else about the card is bad. But I'd like to know how bad you think it is, or how good you think the ability is, or what you had for tea last night, or what your pet's called. Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about games that don't have Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.